One of the biggest shifts that will help your relationship for recovery and just for life is keeping the focus on what the focus needs to be. There are two sides. When I work with couples, what I try to help them understand and what I want them to really wrap their brains around it is there's the two sides. There's stopping the bad, not doing the things that hurt the relationship, not doing the things that are destructive and problematic, removing those things out, as well as doing the things that help build the relationship, that focus on love, connection, and rebuilding, reconciling, and finding joy and excitement and attraction. And these two sides need to be balanced, and keeping the focus that these things that come into the relationship that are trying to break down the relationship need to be worked on together, just the same as the things that build the relationship need to be worked on together. And that the focus is that you guys are a team, that you have coupled together, that you come to unity on this. The addiction, especially addictions that are let's say if we talk about pornography addiction, the addiction, the pornography, the people pushing this way of looking at bodies, objectification, that is the enemy. Your spouse, your partner who has this problem, who deals with this is not the enemy. Looking at the problem as the problem and understanding that there are so many influences and there's so many outside forces that are trying to push in, whether that be kind of, I mean, any advertising agency, any pretty much every website out there has some sort of material that is meant to arouse and to attract and to try and get kind of these brains to focus in and trapped in and caught into their net. Some of them aren't so brash or straightforward as porn websites, but there are people who are pushing this. There are people and there are things that really want you or your spouse to be stuck. And there's so much out there. I tell people that they can't try to avoid all the triggers because there's just too many. We need to learn how to respond to those triggers. Again, how do we do the right things? How do we remove this and do the work? And the couples who are able to focus in on this, the couples who are able to see each other as partners with love, with compassion, with understanding and empathy, not just the betrayed towards the betrayer in those kind of terminologies, but the idea of the person who has the addiction and their spouse. But it's there needs to be this mutual empathy, that the person who has the addiction, the person acting out, who has acted out, needs to look at their partner with that compassion of, hey, I've caused problems. Hey, my actions have hurt this person and have brought them into a world they didn't want to be a part of, into a problem that they didn't really want or need. Just as the person who has felt betrayed, the spouse or the partner, needs to have compassion that their partner is a good person, trying their best, doing what they can to try and stop this, that they've probably worked on it over and over and over again, and that they don't want this either. That they are fighting and trying to get better. And if you two can work and coordinate together to overcome this problem, it will be so much easier for both of you to heal, both of you to overcome. So focusing on how can we build this relationship, how can we have a foundation where we feel strong, where we feel love and compassion and empathy and patience, while we see that the problem is the problem, that the addiction is part of a disease in the brain, or a malfunctioning system, and that it can be overcome. that it can be stopped, that we can kind of change the system that we live in and change the way we do things so that recovery can happen. That we can put up those boundaries and limits and establish a safe place in our homes, on our devices, in our lives, so that these outside influences, the people or the spiritual sides of this that are constantly attacking, that we can have those defenses and know how to respond to those things and work together as a team so that we don't have to do it alone. Within that realm of connection and relationships, addictions lose so much power. So, some things as a couple that you can do today as the assignment is maybe get a piece of paper out and write down two sides. What are the things that need to stop happening? What are the things that we need to avoid, or boundaries we need to put, limits, regulations, standards that you want to hold up to kind of put up those defenses against the enemy, against the opposition, against those attacks. And the other side, what are some things that we need to keep doing? What are some things that we need to establish? What are some things that we need to have in our lives to build more empathy, build more love, build more connection? What are some things that you guys have stopped doing that you used to do that helped you feel loved and admired? What are some things that you've started doing that have gotten in the way? Start writing out this list. Not to say you're going to be able to do all these things, write it all at once, but just kind of putting it out there and start together coordinating, collaborating, and then taking action towards those things. Part of what can be helpful here as well in these discussions is finding the function. What is the function of the addiction? What is it really addressing? A lot of times with all addictions, there's an underlying unmet need, and the addiction in a skewed way is trying to satisfy that, but it will never fully satisfy that, because the way the fakeness of pornography or of drugs is never going to fully satisfy or fix the problem. So as a couple, writing out what needs to stop, what needs to happen, what do we need to do, what do we need to stop doing, and how can we work together on that, as well as what is the function. Another kind of second assignment. What is the function of this addiction? What is it really trying to address? And working together, talking together, counseling together, openly, curiously, with gentleness and kindness as a team, you two will be able to work through many of the problems that make addiction recovery so difficult. As you come together, it will become a joy that you guys are working in tandem and not just butting heads.